What's up, guys? Welcome to the Behind the Golf Brand podcast. This week, I have my good friend Jimmy McDonald from GolfZon, GolfZon Simulators. If you guys don't know what GolfZon is, they pretty much make the coolest golf simulator in the world. Yeah, I've never seen anything like it. It's called the Two Vision, and they recently came out with the Wave, which is phenomenal. And we're here to talk about the GolfZon Wave, the Two Vision, and how GolfZone's kind of really taking over the market right now in the United States. So, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks. Thanks, Paul. Thanks for having me and thanks for your kind words, man.
So we were like talking before the show. I'm like, yo, man, this Voltron wave's like sick. Like, this is legit. Like,
Pretty good.
if you're looking for a really good simulator that won't like break the bank, like that thing is. We'll get to that in a minute, but it's really cool. So where are you located right now?
Yeah, I wish I could say I'm in my basement with this sweet background behind me. But I am in my basement. It just doesn't look like that. I'm in New York. I'm based in New York. Our company, GolfZone America, we're headquartered in Virginia, just outside of Washington, D.C. And globally, GolfZone is a Korean company. So our U.S. outfit came here in 2017. We set up shop in Virginia, and thank God they brought me on board all the
Why
way up in New York.
Virginia?
Yeah,
You
it's
know
actually
why?
kind of an interesting. Yeah, it's a funny story. We hired, or we got few different colleges to do some research for us, and we basically told them what we did, who we were, and what we were looking to do in the United States. We told them what we built in Korea, and hey, this is what we're trying to build in the U.S. Where should we be headquartered? That was the question, and I think we went to like Duke, Dartmouth, Brown, like some highly touted schools, right? So they all went their own separate directions. They did their own research on where they think we should be headquartered, and they all said Minneapolis, Minnesota, in unison. All three of them said Minneapolis. And actually, that's probably our most densely saturated market in terms of
Oh, that
volume.
makes
We have the
sense.
most
Yeah, and what
simulators
you
out
guys
there.
do, and yeah.
But we couldn't headquarter out there because too many flights get canceled in the winter. And we're a very mobile team. We're traveling all over the place. So that's why we chose Virginia, because you don't get the snow and you can get on a plane and your flights
Why
still
don't you
get
guys
canceled. But
choose like California? Like, might be cooler to be like in Carlsbad or like, I don't know, Orange County, Arizona,
I
Scottsdale. I mean, that'd be
totally.
better, I think.
Yeah,
Virginia?
well, first of
Nothing
all,
against
I wasn't a part of
Virginia.
the planning committee. I was not a part of the
I
planning
would have been
committee.
part of that. I've been like, yeah, let's put a cool place. Nothing against Virginia though. The reason why I asked Virginia because another brand I work with in
Yeah.
the same space is based out of Virginia. I was like, why are these two big brands in Virginia? Like maybe because
There's a
centrally
lot of tech.
located, it's like, is it? I don't know. Maybe it is. I
Yeah.
mean, they're both
In
Korean
that
companies, big
Northern
ones.
Virginia, um, so it's Dulles Airport, right? You got Reagan, which is in the heart of DC, and then you've got Dulles, which is
Yeah,
kind of on the outskirts. Right
yeah.
around that Dulles Airport area, there's a ton of tech, and there's a lot of
I didn't
government
know that.
contractors there, but it's all tech.
Uh,
So for
that's
us,
probably
it kind of
why.
fits.
Yeah,
I would have said
that's
Dallas
cool.
because you're right in the middle of the country and you can fly either
Dallas has
way.
been great too. Yeah, now you're like right in the middle, and it's a big metropolitan city, and it's techie, right? Austin's close
Yep.
too. Well,
Yep.
Austin, I don't know. I guess. I mean, I just wonder. I just thought it was weird. In the last week, two very large Korean companies are based out of not based, but like contractually are based out of Virginia, which I just thought was weird. I don't know. I just thought it was weird. Um,
Yeah.
so are you a golf pro?
Yeah, technically, yeah.
You are.
Yeah, yeah. I've been in the golf business since I was 11. I started caddying when I was 11, got hired in the bag room when I was 13, and then I just forever I was in the golf business. I was
So
a
where'd you
golf
grow
pro.
up at?
I grew up in Connecticut.
Okay.
Live in New York now, about an hour from where I grew up. But the golf up in Connecticut, kind of where I grew up, was tremendous. In that like Westchester County, like Winged Foot was 15 minutes from where I grew up.
Really? Oh, that'd be
There's
cool.
just so much golf there. Big part of the culture around there. So I was a golf pro till I was like 20, 26, I think, 26, 27.
So, who taught you to play golf? Your dad, your grandpa, your mom? Who?
Yeah, my dad took me to the range for the first time, and it immediately sunk its hook into me. I was baseball and hockey is what I played growing up. And then golf came about, and the only reason I stuck with it, honestly, is because I've always worked. I had a paper route from the time I was 8. And when I turned 11, my dad said, "You should make some real money and start caddying." So I had to learn the game a little bit. He taught me the game a little bit, and then I started caddying. And next thing you know, I'm just I'm a
There every
lifelong servant.
day, making good money. At 11, you're like the richest kid in the neighborhood,
Totally.
and
Yeah.
like everyone else is like playing Nintendo, and you're like, yo, I'm gonna go caddy and make some money.
Yeah, I'm gonna go buy Nintendo. That's what I
I'm
was
gonna go
thinking.
buy 5 Nintendos. And I'm gonna go like this. I'm gonna go buy me a Super Nintendo, probably your generation, I would say. Super
Yeah, it might
Nintendo
have
and
been Sega
64.
Genesis by then.
No way. How old are you?
37?
Oh yeah, Genesis. You're young though. Yeah, I guess 11. Yeah, you're like my age, kinda. I'm 45, but still.
45. Yeah.
Um,
Okay.
so so you grew up playing, and then when you got up, did you like were you on the golf team and like the whole 9 yards?
No, I was a hockey player. That's
What position
baseball
did you
and
play?
hockey. I was a goalie.
Probably a defense. You're a goalie?
Yeah.
How that's the hardest position.
Well,
I
thank
think
you
for
for
sure.
saying so. I appreciate that. All my
I love.
goaltender brethren.
So, who's your favorite hockey team?
Dude,
Sabres, the Islanders,
Connecticut,
who? Hartford
Whalers. I was a
Whalers.
Whalers fan.
Really, really? I like the old Whalers
Yeah.
uniform. The old school one, that was sick.
You
The big
still
old
see
like
people rocking the hats, and I see
really?
people wearing
Are you
scarves
still a
and
Whalers
jackets.
fan though?
I mean, how can I be? They've been gone. They moved, so they turned into the Carolina Hurricanes. They moved down to North
Oh yeah, that's
Carolina.
right. And you're like, see
So when all
ya.
my favorite players left to North Carolina, I tried to stay with them, but now I don't really follow anybody.
Yeah, like I grew up out here, and like there was 3 hockey rinks in the entire state of Arizona when I was a kid,
Yeah.
and like there was one in Tucson, 2 in Phoenix. This is before they built like the Ice Den, Scottsdale, and all that other stuff. And so like if you played hockey, like that was really obscure. But I
Mhm.
fell in love with the sport because all we had was baseball and football and golf out here. And like I was like, why did my parents like let me play this when I was younger? I love this. This is the best game ever made.
Like, do
And
you
I
play
mean,
it
I
now?
play no, I haven't played in like 15 years. But I played in men's league for a while after like
Yeah.
I got married, and I was like, I am too old for this. Like my back was hurting, like my lower back. I'm like, why does my back hurt so bad? And I was, but I love hockey. Like I love hockey. My buddy, he's on the podcast a long time ago. He played for the Avalanche, like in like back in
Mhm.
the 90s. And so he always talks so much shit to me, dude, like all the time. Like every time we
Yeah.
talk on the phone, he'll like purposely like show me his like Stanley Cup, like little trophies. Like, look what I got. And you don't have one of those. And I was like, yeah, bro, because you're freaking professional. I'm not. I suck. Like, he's like, you should come up to the men's league night. I'm like, there's no way I'm doing that. So he's like, oh,
Oh, he
they
still
start like
plays
name
men's league?
dropping. Yeah, they still play men's league. There's a men's league in like in Scottsdale, and it's like all NHL players, dude. Like seriously, it's all like I don't know. I can't think of some of these dudes. Like I don't know, like tons of people you would know. Be like, oh, I know
Yeah.
that guy. What the hell's that guy's name? Not Neil Broughton. What's that guy who played for? He played for the North Stars, and like it was Neil Broughton and so and so, and he was Mike Modano. Mike Modano lives up
Oh my
there.
God. Yeah,
Like I
dude.
know I'm throwing myself back, right? That's when I loved. I loved hockey in the '90s. Like that's you ask me
Yeah.
about hockey, like circa like 1990 to 94, 95. I'll tell you every player. I geek out on that stuff,
Oh,
and like
NHL 94 is the best hockey video game ever made.
ever made. Dude, bro, that is the only game I ever asked for. Yeah, for Super Nintendo, or is it like, or did you have
Yeah.
for Sega Genesis?
I had it for everything. Even
Bro, it's the best
today,
game
if you
ever.
get the new hockey games for like PS5 and you're picking your control method, you can pick like the standard, advanced, or NHL 94 controls where you
Oh my
just
god,
use the
dude.
buttons
That
from
was
NHL
literally the best
94.
game. That was literally the best game ever made.
Totally.
For reals.
Yeah.
Because all hockey games before that were like mad lame, right? Because like you'd have like, they had like, what was it? Blades of Steel was the other hockey game that was for Nintendo, and I used to play all that. And it was like
Okay.
shitty, but yeah,
Yeah.
I know we're talking about Nintendo, but yeah, for real, I love that game.
What are we talking about again?
I don't remember. There's be a way you could like cheat. I remember this. My buddy always used to do it to me. Where like if you went back and forth a lot behind the net, the goalie would get stuck on the net, and I was like, "What's up with that, dude?"
Oh
But
man. And
sure.
then they came out with NHL hits and it all went out the window. You ever play NHL hits?
No, because of
Oh,
was it
three on
lame?
three. It
No,
was great.
forget that. Boring.
No, you could check people through the boards, and if you checked them through the boards and through the glass, they couldn't come back on the ice. So you could
Then
just
two
be
on
three against
three.
the goalie. Yeah, it
Oh
was
god,
beautiful.
was it? That's when they started like making all these like extreme video games back then. Like
Yeah.
like I don't know. Anyways, back to Golf Zone and not geeking out on old
Sorry.
Nintendo games. So freaking guy, man. Just kidding. So then you played hockey in high school. Did you play hockey in college, or
I
did you
didn't
stop?
know. I stopped. I stopped playing competitively. I still played men's leagues.
Yeah.
I went away to college. I went to music school of all things. I went to the Berklee College of
Really?
Music up in Boston,
Shut
Massachusetts.
up.
And yeah,
What? What do you play?
yeah. Used to play a lot of guitar, and I sang and I wrote songs and went to Berkeley for that. But golf was pulling me back, man. I wanted to. I went there and realized that I couldn't do music. I wanted to come and get a real job and work around golf. I just loved it. I missed it. So came back within a couple of years. I was a golf pro at a local golf course to where I grew up.
In
Did that for
Connecticut?
another, yeah, yeah. The Stanwich Club in Greenwich, Connecticut. It's a great golf course. I've been number one in the state for 40 years, I think. It's a
Oh,
great
that's cool.
spot. Was a golf pro there until I was about 26, maybe 27, kind of in that range. And then my wife and I started a family. So, I mean, I don't know if you've had golf pros on your podcast, but that's a tough gig with raising kids. And I wanted to go the corporate route. And thank God GolfZone came along because it's a best of both worlds, right? I get to still
It's
be
a
in
hard
golf.
transition, isn't it? I'm not like I feel like golf pro. It's like that's a hard job. I don't think people realize that, and I don't. When I have like I had Taylor Crosby on the show a couple days ago, and
Yeah.
he was talking about that as well because he's down at the Kingdom, and like he was saying that like it's like you come out want to play golf and you have like three options, right? Like okay, but I work in the pro shop as a golf pro, and then I spend 60 hours a week in the pro shop, and I get to teach for
Minimum.
10 hours if I'm lucky, right? And then it's like, well,
Yep.
that's hard because you're working 7 days a week, right? Pretty much.
Yep.
And like it's like that transition to go like, what do you do, right? Like if you're good at golf, like what do? You try to go pro, which is hard as hell, and
Mhm.
then or you can teach, which you can get, that could be hard too. You could be a really great teacher, but you might be working in the pro shop 90% of the time. So how do you pursue that career path?
Yeah.
And then the third option is going into the business, right? Into corporate or a brand or whatever it might be. So how
Yep.
did you bridge that gap? Like how did you go from teaching to GolfZon?
Yeah, there was a job in the middle there. I took a job um, with another company, just sales, right? Corporate sales.
But was
Um,
it golf or no?
no,
Oh, just
no,
regular old sales
completely. Yeah, it's just regular old sales. I was working for a company selling water, so I would sell water to
in
like Walmart.
Connecticut. What?
Exactly.
Playing
Poland
water.
Spring. Poland Spring. I'm going and shucking Poland Spring to like ShopRite and Stop and Shop and Walmart. And it was great, but it was a great way to cut my teeth in the
Encouraging
sales
sales, right?
category.
Yeah,
Yeah,
closing. Yeah, and like hunting down the lead and like getting it closed.
totally. Yeah. 'Cause, look, being a golf pro, you're in sales all day, every day. You're selling yourself. That's what you're doing. You're selling your services. I can help you with your swing. I can help you putting. I
Yeah.
can do all these things to empower you and make your game better. And it's eventually up to your client to make that decision if they want to continue forward with you. Transition to a product where you got to go in and make the case for something that's not you. That's a big that's a big adjustment. And I did that.
Convince the person to buy it. That's a hard job. Like that's
Yeah.
if you can master sales, that's like one of the best skills you could ever have in your entire life. Like my buddy's in sales, dude, he makes so much freaking money, it's ridiculous. I was like, what the hell? I mean, he worked his ass off, but it's like,
Yeah.
I mean,
Th-
but it's like the 1%. You know what I mean? Like if you get really good at sales, it's like you can really do really well.
There's a lot of really good life skills in there too, in teaching you how to negotiate, teaching you how to be yourself through a situation and let people see the true person who's delivering the message, right? It's relationship building and relationship maintenance, all that stuff. That's great at work and at home. I mean, sales situations will help you out with your wife. It'll help you
Bro, I went to law
navigate a
school.
tough
I thought that would help
situation.
me out. Like win arguments. I'd be like,
That's the opposite, man.
oh, I know it backfires. She still beats me all the time. It's all right. I'm like, all I have is debt. Just kidding.
Yeah, in
Um,
the personal point system of a
oh
marriage.
yeah. Oh yeah, forget that. Like, okay, you win, forget it. I'm not gonna argue. Um, so how long did you do that?
That was about 4 years, and I worked up from territory to a larger territory to a region, um, and that was great experience because that gave me the opportunity to learn kind of a corporate hierarchy and how the structure works and how you work your way through it. And then coming over to GolfZon was the opportunity just kind of popped up out of nowhere, right?
How'd you
But it
find it?
was through a golf pro, through a golf
Really?
pro that I used to work with. He was doing some work with the company. Yeah.
What was
And
he
he said,
doing?
"Hey, we're building a sales force." He was kind of sales operations, doing a little bit of both because the company was so new. They were founded here in the US in 2017, and that's when he started with them. So he called me up and said, "Hey, we're building our sales force. I know you've been in sales. Things are going well. You want to take a look?" So I took his call. I met with the
Hey, well,
CEO.
it's not water.
Um,
I mean, I like water.
Water's pretty
Come on,
good.
man. It's golf.
And you need water. I want golf simulators, though. That sounds
True.
fun.
That's
Um,
very true.
so yeah, it was a couple quick phone calls, and very quickly I realized that I could marry the two of, hey, you've gotten pretty good at this sales thing, and you really like that lifestyle of the Monday to Friday, more structured, not working 200 hours a week, and also golf. So just having both of those as your career path, it's never even thought it was an option. But 5 years later, here we are.
Yeah. So who's Golf Zone? Like people don't know who golf. I know Golf Zone is. 'Cause I've done a bunch of research and I've done a bunch of content lately. But like, who are they?
Yeah.
Because they're massive. They're freaking huge.
It's almost unfathomable how large and the reach of this company. So GolfZone was founded, I might have said this earlier, in the year 2000 in Korea, very much out of a market need. If you're not familiar with Korea, most of your population is in Seoul, and Seoul is about 5 times the size of all 5 boroughs of Manhattan put together, and it's all high rises. It's all urban development, right? And you've got a really huge golfing culture in Korea, but because the city is so big, there's no golf courses. There's nowhere to do it. So you have to
Or
go
to do it at,
outside the
right?
city.
Yeah.
You have to leave the city, go to the suburbs. Now you're traveling for an hour each way. You're playing a 6 hour round because everybody wants to do it. And just due to supply and demand, the prices are astronomical. So it's really hard to capture and retain your golfing audience in Korea. Excuse me. So in the year 2000, the idea was, hey, let's bring golf to the city. Let's put it in a room. Can we set up a screen and just have them hit into a screen? And after a couple different generations of technology, right around 2009, GolfZone really started catching fire. And in 2011, the company went public in Korea to the tune of a $1.6 billion market cap. It was the fifth largest IPO in the history of the Korean exchange. They started expanding into satellite offices. They opened up Japan, they opened China, and then they opened the United States in 2017. So we are 100% owned by our global parent company in Korea here at GolfZone America. Just a peek into some of the numbers here. Last year in 2022, we did, I think it was 87 million rounds of golf on our simulators. 87 million 18-hole rounds by registered GolfZone users. So that doesn't count any guest play. It doesn't count people coming in and playing 9, 10, 15 holes. It's only fully completed rounds, 87 million of them. It's astronomical.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, they're so big. Like, I didn't realize because doesn't Golf Zone also own Golf Buddy? I could have sworn that's what I saw. Is
That's
that one of
correct.
their sub?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, what the hell? Like, because I'm like, they own that too. I was like, holy crap! Like, you don't understand, or like, I don't know, like like how big this brand is in Korea, which is cool. Is like, you know, and you're only starting to see. Like, I feel like, and this is not a knock. I just feel like you didn't really see a lot of Golf Zone stuff, like really to the masses yet. And then with
Mhm.
the Wave being launched and the Two Vision, and like, I mean, the first time I saw the Two Vision was the PGA show this year, and it blew my mind. I was like, "What the hell is that?
Yeah.
That is the coolest thing I've ever seen in my entire life."
Yeah.
And then like like I just never seen anything like that, and I was like, "That's what I want. That's the future right there," you know. And I think like it's a mountain of coming to America and the power and the force because they run a lot of the technology. Like people don't understand. Like this is like literally probably the biggest sim company in the world, I would say.
Oh, for sure it is. Yeah, global market share, we are number one by leaps and bounds, and second place is a distant second. Here in the U.S., it's a very different story because we came here in 2017, but some of our competitors, Full Swing Golf, they've been around for 30 years here. They've had a presence in the United States for 30 years. So that's what we're battling is it's not necessarily a market share question that we're battling in the US, but it's just a brand awareness question. And we're still
Yeah,
taking calls to this day. If people call us and they say, God, I saw you online. I didn't even know you were here in the States. And it's like, we've been here for 5 years, 6 years, 7 years.
yeah, it's getting the
We're
message
here.
out that like, yo, we're here and like we know what we're
Yeah.
doing. Like so, like when I was so I just did a video. I was telling Jimmy like on the wave, right? And like I did a bunch of research just on the brand itself as part of this video. And like one thing that blew my mind is like I remember that like golf zones in like 63 different countries at this point. And what's super cool because I haven't seen anybody do this is they have like their own like pay league kind of thing, like competition, and they have like a huge prize pool, like millions of dollars in prizes for online golf. Like, and I'm like,
Mhm.
that's all next level stuff, right? Like, because that's what everyone like talks about doing, but they're already doing it. It's just that like
Yeah.
they're doing it in Korea and now they're coming over to the United States and they're really coming in full force. When like
Yeah.
this is like one of those times I feel like where it's like you're gonna see the switch. You're gonna see that like not in terms of golf zone, but like when what's it called? Oh, what the hell that place called? I just forgot. Uh, what's the place that Callaway owns? My mind's went
Top
blank.
golf.
Yeah, Top Golf. So when
Top
Top
golf.
Golf came, people were like, "What the hell's Top Golf? That's stupid, right?" And then it's like,
Yeah.
no, that's a big shift, and it's like the same kind of thing. It's like you can start seeing this big shift where it's like this is gonna be normal. Like, oh, that's what I want, you know. And as prices start coming down on these units, like even especially like we'll talk about that in a minute, but like with the two vision, I mean that thing's like how much the two vision cost? Like
Yeah, it's 76,000.
yeah,
It's not cheap.
$76,000. I mean, if I had 70, I'd buy that for my house if I was super rich. But like,
Sure.
but the
Me too.
wave. I mean, Jimmy has like four of them behind him in his house right now in his basement. That's
Can't
how
get
rich this
enough of
dude
them.
is. But if the wave, it's like with the wave, they're pretty much taking the technology and the two vision and they're putting it in the wave. And it's at a smaller scale, but it's like kind of close to the same thing, but not as, but like close enough. And it's like, holy
Mhm.
crap, and it's like the price point's what, four? Is it four for the, what's it cost?
39.95,
Yeah,
baby.
39.95, right?
Yep.
So it's like it's crazy because I mean I'm excited by Golf Zone, so I'm like, whoa, this is the graphics look amazing. They look real. Number one, they look
Oh, good.
cartoony, and I mean I'd probably lose the whole caddy thing if it was me because kind of like I'm like, come on, dude. But other than that, I think it's super cool. That's what I'd say.
Noted. That's a fair point. Fair point.
You know what I'm talking about. You can see the guy in the background. It's like all like I would lose that, or I don't know, maybe have some guy talking. I'd put like Chubbs there or something like that'd be cool. Um,
Yeah. It'd be cool if we got like Jim Nance as the announcer, right?
you probably could. I mean, you're the one golf simulator company in the world. I mean, they should have Jimmy McDonald be the announcer. Good
I've
shot.
been selling that for 6 years, man. They won't buy
No.
it.
So, all right. So then, what employee number were you at Golf Zone?
I don't exactly remember. I was either five or six.
It's
And
crazy.
there were a couple people that started within the same week or so. I think
Yeah.
I was five and the next guy was six. Yeah, now we're quite a bit bigger. I think we're close to 40 now. We're just growing like crazy. I mean,
Dude, Golf
the
Zone's so
sales
big, you
numbers are
guys. I can't even like tell you. It's massive. It's like the Apple of Korea. It's like some huge.
they touch everything golf. Everything
Yeah.
golf. Golf Zone owns at least a piece of it, and most times it's a big piece. So you think here in the U.S., golf retail, PGA Tour Superstore, right? That's probably one of the preeminent names you think of here in the U.S. In Korea, it's Golf Zone retail. So you go into a Golf Zone branded retail facility and you go buy your golf balls and your gloves, and there's no
I didn't
golf
know that.
simulators. Yeah, you get your golf bag, your golf shoes, and then you take them across the street and you go play on a Golf Zone simulator.
Crazy.
They touch
So
every part of the journey.
Okay, so when you first came on board then in 17, like what was the offering at Golf Zone? Like what do they have that was for sale in the US?
Yeah, we had we really had two core products that we sold. We had the Vision Premium, which isn't terribly different from the Two Vision. There's a couple subtle but key differences between the two. And then we had our Vision Standard, which we're still selling today. GDR Standard was part of that as well. The GDR stands for Golf Zone Driving Range. That's more, you see that in training and practice facilities, of which there are a couple in the New York market that we own and operate called Golf Zone Range by Ledbetter. And that's just practice, analysis, and training. Those simulators, the GDR simulators, it's meant to have one user on them for a period of time, whether it's 30, 60, 90 minutes. Our other simulators, the Vision models, so Vision Premium, Vision Standard, Two Vision, those are all our entertainment simulators, which
Oh,
are
I know
meant to
that.
have two or more people, 2 to 6 people on them for a round of golf on a golf course.
So let's talk about that. Let's talk about the two products that I know about. I mean,
Sure.
let's talk about the Two Vision and the Wave. And let's start with the Wave first. So I guess can you explain to the audience what is the Two Vision?
Two Vision first? Yeah.
Yeah, let's do
Okay.
Two Vision first. Sorry. Yeah. I
So
can't do
the
two things
Two
at once. Look at
Vision,
that. See, look at I can do that. I can't really figure that
I
out.
couldn't see what your other hand was doing. I trust you were doing the right thing.
Yeah, from my tummy.
So the Two Vision simulator is our flagship model. That is when people think Golf Zone, they think what's the best, and this is the best. The Two Vision is a camera-based technology, full service turnkey golf simulator. So we use high-speed cameras. There's two for each handedness of golfer. There's one in the ceiling and there's one in a kiosk. Yep,
Which of those
that's
two?
exactly
Yeah, the
what they
red
look
one's the
like.
ceiling, the blue's in the kiosk.
That's exactly right. Yep. And those two cameras are set at an offset angle, kind of like so, if you can see my hands.
Yeah,
The
I
reason that
can.
we put a camera in the kiosk, well, some of this is audio only, right? So one hand pointing down, one hand coming from the side. And if you have the cameras at that angle, we found that it's a bit better than our Vision Premium, which just has two cameras in the ceiling. Because when you have them offset like this, you're able to capture a hell of a lot more club head data. And the feedback that we
Interesting.
got from our users was, hey, this is great. The ball data is awesome, but the club data is a little lacking. So we took this different approach with these cameras to a ton more club head data. All the data displays on the kiosk. I think you had it. Yep. An
Look at
image
that
of it
timing. It was
there.
like perfect timing when you said that.
Guys,
Some
we didn't
B-roll
even
action right
practice
there.
this. We didn't even practice this, Paul.
The red
That's
light turns
crazy.
on. It's like hit the slideshow.
So all your data, and that's also touchscreen, so that's how you control the whole unit right there. But let's take a step back from the kiosk for a second. Once you get on the golf simulator, you selected your golf course, you set up your game, you're ready to go. You're standing on the simulator, ready to hit shots. The whole objective here is to take away that kiosk and just make this a game between the golfer and the ball and the course, because you don't have to go interface with the CPU really at all. It's going to run
True.
the whole game for you, and there's no buttons you need to hit. So all the buttons are there if you want to have that experience, but we try to make this golf emulation more so than simulation. We want you to feel like you're playing the game. And we're able to do that, A, by kind of eliminating that kiosk so that you don't have to interface with it throughout your round.
You just do it right at the beginning, and then you just do your thing, right? Essentially, at that point.
Yeah, you just play. You just play your game, right? You don't have
Like
to
seriously, it's
change
like the
the aim.
coolest thing ever. I think this is the coolest thing ever. Like straight up, this is the coolest simulator I've ever seen in my entire life. Like it's the coolest thing. Like literally.
The the
You
two
you don't even
pieces that
need the kiosk at all. Like I mean, you need to set your stuff up, but you don't even like after that. It's like I'm gonna go play golf. All good.
Yeah. And now you don't have it like there's other simulators where you have to go to the CPU and you have to change your aim and your club and all that stuff. And it's all, you don't need to. You can if you want that experience, but you don't have to. But the other two elements that I think really elevate this to the next level are number one, the auto tee up system, so that there's no shagging balls, right? You hit a ball, it hits the screen, it returns, and a new ball is pegged up for you automatically at each user's unique preferred tee height. So if Paul and I, if we're playing together, you like your ball teed up at 3 3/4 inches and I like mine at 4, it's going to know who's playing and it'll tee it up appropriately. You've also got 3 different hitting mats. Really, on the Two Vision, it's 5. You've got fairway, and then your rough mat is subdivided into a long cut and a shorter cut. And then your bunker mat is subdivided into a green side and a fairway bunker hitting
So you
surface.
guys switch. You guys gotta switch out this graphic because that's not even right. Because really,
It's
there's like
not.
2 more. Like you should tell them on the
Th-
website. That's not even like half as much stuff. That's weird to
That
me.
graphic there is actually of our Vision Premium model. That's the one that we brought here in 2017.
Oh,
And if
yeah.
you cycle
They should change
back,
that.
yeah, we should
I
change
know
that. Thank you.
they should change that. You can see it here. The reason why I know because I got to play with it. I was telling
Yeah.
Jimmy like before the show, like I got to go play with the Two Vision at Troon like 2 weeks ago, and like I know this thing like the back of my hand. They taught me how to use it, and within like 10 minutes, I was like, oh, this is the coolest thing ever. You're like writing a note, change image on website.
I'm writing that down as we speak.
And also that should be
Okay.
slanted, like, right? I know about the product. So like this is all like you hit the screen and then it comes down and it's just slanted downwards and then it rolls into a feeder underneath you and it automatically just does like you never have to bend over. You just like ever unless you need to move the ball into the different grass, right? Or the different stuff on the right.
Even then, I use my club. I use my
That's true
club to do
too.
it.
Yeah, that's true. You can do too. I mean, I guess you can kind of see it here on this screen. You can kind of see like there's actually what 5, right? 5 lies you can pick from.
There are,
Yeah.
fairway, intermediate rough, deep rough, greenside bunker, fairway bunker. 5
And the
total.
cool thing, what I love about this unit is like you were saying before, like you don't really have to touch the kiosk afterwards, right? So like let's pretend like I hit a shot. I guess I explain how a system works. So I hit my tee shot and it ends up on a hill. What happens to the system?
Yeah. So at that point, if you end up, let's say, Paul, you hit your drive 325 yards, I assume it's somewhere out, maybe
Minus
just off
100
into the
yards.
first cut or rough. So that whole hitting surface that you're standing on is going to lift out of the ground and then it's going to tilt to simulate the terrain of the course you're playing.
Freaking
And
cool.
it'll move up to 16 degrees of slope, which doesn't sound like a lot, just conversationally. But if it were 16.5 degrees of slope, the ball wouldn't sit still on the fairway mat. So
Didn't know that. That's crazy.
that's
But
about
the
as
max it will
severe as
go
you're going to
without
see.
having it roll off the thing.
Now
I
you'll
didn't know
see a
that.
more severe lie in the rough. Our swing plate won't go that far, but in real life, you'd see more severe than that. But on the fairway, you're not going to see much more than 16 degrees. So it's pretty darn close.
So
Furthermore, on the
the other
Two
thing
Vision
is
unit,
too is like you can't cheat, right? That's the other thing is like you can't cheat on this system. I mean, you can, but you're gonna get penalized, right?
right? If you can always play the ball from the fairway, you can always put the ball on the fairway mat and play from there if you want to. But the system knows which hitting mat you're
It's so
supposed to
fucking
be on
smart.
and which hitting mat you're on. So if you put it on the fairway, but you're supposed to be in the rough, it'll assess a percentage penalty and it'll call that
Which is
out on the screen so
crazy
you
because
know.
it's like it does it internally. Like it's not like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, whatever. It's like let's say I went in the sand, right? Like on the screen, and I'm like, F that, I'm gonna put it on the grass. And then I hit my next shot. It's like it's still gonna act like I hit it out of the sand, or is it gonna not do that? It's gonna give you a penalty in the math, right? And be like, well, actually, you didn't, and you're going to get this penalty automatically. And the distance on the ball and everything else is going to be penalized on that shot, which is kind of cool because you can't cheat. I mean, you can, but it's like it's pointless. So it's like
It's not
go
going to
ahead
work
and
out for you if you do.
not gonna work out. Yeah. And
Yeah.
then the other thing is cool is like if you hit out the sand, like you would never think like this, but like it feels like you're hitting out of sand, which is nuts because this is a bunch of like it's bristles, but it feels just like it. And the difference between the bunkers and the greens or the green side and the fairway, it's like you can feel the difference. It's so crazy. It's like I don't know. It's just nuts. Like it's the coolest thing I've ever seen.
When I do
Cool.
live demos on this thing, that's all people want to do is hit out of the bunker mats. They want to see the plate move and they want to experience that, and that is your wow factor for sure. In my opinion, it also turns it from just an entertaining golf simulator to a game improvement golf simulator. Because there's really no place in the world you can go practice balls at 8 degrees below your feet. Everybody,
In sand.
yeah, in sand, no less, right? Or out of the rough.
Or yeah, this cool thing is too is you can putt. So like even like that, you can putt on it, and it. I know all about your product. This thing, I'm not trying to sell here. I just think it's that cool.
You're
Like
looking for a
so, then
job,
like if you're
Paul?
maybe let's see. So then there's like a laser, so like you're putting, and it's just like, oh, you got to hit it like 15 feet. Let's just pretend, right? And then what it does, it shows like a laser beam, like a red laser, like a cat, like a cat chasing laser thing. It, like shoots it like right in front at the edge of the system, and that's where you're supposed to aim. Like so, like that's the proper not lie, but angle, I guess, or
Your
whatever.
line.
And then you just hit the
Yeah.
ball. And I was like, holy crap, they thought of everything. Like
I always
like
compare that feature, Paul, to like I used to caddy, right? And when I would read the green for somebody, I would use the flag stick and I would point to a blade of grass on the ground. And that's all we're doing is we're calling out, hey, aim it here. It's up to you to hit that line with the right speed to make it. But if
that's
you
so
hit it
cool.
here, you're going to have the best chance to make the putt.
And like also like even if like then you might ask yourself, well, what if I had moved the ball? Let's say I was like right here and then I
Oh,
moved the
yeah.
ball to the right or the left, right? Before I even hit the shot. That laser moves too. Like it knows where the ball is. It kind of follows you around. So it's like you can't be a dumbass. It's like, okay, I'm gonna put it over here, the laser's gonna be right here. And then like, you're still aiming at the same point. It's
Yeah.
literally the coolest like simulator I've ever been on. That's like it's very ingenious. Like everything they did, there's a purpose for it. It's not just there to like look cool. It like there's a job for it, and it makes it go faster, right? So instead of like, I think it's one of the downsides with Sims. It's like when you go putt, you're like, oh, it's 15 feet, and you're like, okay, cool, and you hit the ball, and it like goes right past the hole, and you don't know where the lie is because this thing has to read from the cameras and all this other bullshit. And like, really,
Yeah.
this thing makes it so like if you can learn how far 15 feet really is for you when you putt, it's still going to show the right lie and the right length of the shot. I don't know, it's just really cool. It's so cool.
So let's
Um,
talk about putting for a quick second, because that, in my opinion, is one of the key differentiators that doesn't get talked about enough with our simulators. And with a lot of competitive products in the marketplace, putting is either not an option or it's not a good one. And you hear all the time people say, well, we just turned putting off, or we set gimmies to 15 feet because putting is stupid and it's not very good.
and
But
the
GolfZone
entire
recognized
game,
that.
right? Like it's like
It's
literally that
huge.
makes you. That's how you actually get your handicap down is your putting.
Well, it's
Oh, we're gonna
every
give you a
if
10-foot circle, and we'll give you an automatic in after you make it in the 10-foot circle. Like that's bullshit.
And Paul, if you did that on the PGA Tour every week, you would have a 40-way playoff at 40 under, right?
Of course.
If you
Yeah.
make guys not putt, it's not going to work. The game is won and lost on the greens, and GolfZone realized that that was a shortcoming of golf simulators and put a ton of money and effort and development into making the putting as realistic as we possibly could. And it's to the point now where it's the best I've ever experienced in golf simulation. I think it's the best in the category. It's the best
I
in
don't
the world
disagree. I
on
don't
our
disagree.
simulators. And a lot of our clients will mark out the floor in front of them. They'll use tape or something like that to mark out 3, 6, 9, 10 feet. So when you have a putt of that distance on the simulator, you have a frame of reference. Oh, okay, that's where the hole is. It's 5 feet away. Let me hit it to that line. And if you hit it that distance, the ball will go in the hole. It will. You can hit putts as short as 6 inches on this simulator. And if you hit it too hard, it's not going in. This is real life putting here, and you have to treat it that way.
I just think like you guys have thought of everything. Now, and I'm not trying to sell a two vision. I mean, because the two vision is $75,000, and like this is more of an entertainment product, like you were saying before. Like, so like you guys
Yeah.
aren't you guys working with Troon? Don't you have a bunch of like locations and you're opening up places, or what's the deal with that?
Yeah, that's right. So GolfZone's really good at two things. No, and the first thing we're good at is making some really badass technology. Our golf simulators are the best in the world, in my opinion. Um, and the other thing that we're really good at is operating a commercial venue. In Korea,
Yeah, because you know how to do that for sure, right?
we
Like that's
got
what you do.
there's like 6,000 stores, man. There's
That's
6,000
crazy.
stores that are either corporate owned or franchises of GolfZone. And we know how to do it. We've gone through the trials and tribulations of running these venues. We know what works and what doesn't. And we're taking that mindset and bringing it here as well. So we have our private customers who buy 4, 8, 10 of these things and they open up their own venue. But then we also have a retail division. And we've opened up now 3 venues in the metropolitan New York market that are all using our entertaining technology. So these are venues where you can go have a burger and a beer and go play 18 holes with your buddies. And then we also have two venues, one right now, the second will come online later this year, called GolfZon Range by Ledbetter. And those GolfZon Range by Ledbetter venues are training and analysis venues. They're places where you can go get a lesson from a PGA professional. You can enhance your game, but you're not going to go and have a beer and play 18 holes at Pebble, because that's not what we're trying to do there. You're going to go to GolfZone Social for that. And that is our GolfZone Social by Troon venues.
Yeah, so like what's cool is like you can go and you can play the two vision if you want, hang out, and so the only place you're at right now is in New York.
Correct. Yeah, we've got one venue in Stamford, Connecticut, which is a stone's throw from the New York border. We've got West Nyack, New York, in Rockland County, and then we've got Scarsdale, New York, in Westchester County.
And then what about expansion? Like where else, like, or like is there any more slated, not just in the New York metropolitan area?
No, right now our focus is in the New York metro area. Phase 2 will be an expansion regionally. So
Makes
we'll break
sense.
out of New York, but we'll stay in the
Yeah.
Northeast. And phase 3 will
The
be
big
more
cities, right? Where
national.
there's like same kind of, I would assume, model as what's happening in Korea. It's like, look, we know the big metropolitan areas don't have a lot of places to go play golf, so let's focus on that. Not like let's go open a location up in Oklahoma, right? Or
Right.
like some, I mean, maybe later on, but not right
Yeah,
now.
maybe later on, not
Yeah.
phase 2. Phase
No,
2,
maybe
you'll
like
see cities like, and we haven't done any of this yet, so I'm
Boston
not.
and DC and Philly
Philadelphia,
and
right?
Chicago and Minneapolis and like all these big metropolitan areas that like half the year is going to be cold, right? We're not going to be able to play.
Yep, yep. And
Makes
actually,
sense.
some of the warmer weather are just as, if not more so, successful than the cold weather climates. Houston, Texas comes to mind. Our venues in Houston, they're
Yeah.
private operators there, but they're just great. Those are year-round solid businesses. Whereas up
I bet
north,
Scottsdale would be
in
big too, man. Honestly, for I
it's
bet
too
like
hot. It's too
well,
hot in
right
this
now it
climate.
is, and I'm saying that like it's almost like you flip it, right? It's so hot
Yeah,
right now. You can go play golf in at Troon, whatever, or at Scottsdale TPC for $100, but it's like 115 degrees outside and it's not fun. So it's like,
no,
why would you want to go do that? If I can go play it, have a drink and hang out with my friends and go play Scottsdale TPC and I'm in Scottsdale at some bar, like I might as well go do that.
yep,
I don't know. I think that's so cool as technology. And you guys can kind of see with this image, like, is like you can see all five of the grass types here and stuff like that.
hmm
But so then that's a two vision, right? So that's like the diamond, right? Like that's the top.
yes,
And then you guys have come out the wave. Now, what's the wave?
yeah. The Wave is it's a very, very different product. And it's a product we haven't been in this category, but the category is probably the largest that there is in golf simulation in just getting out to the mass consumer, right? And it's a $4,000 price point personal launch monitor device slash golf simulator. And that's the unit right there, right down front and center. That's the GolfZon Wave. That is a radar device. There is a camera on it, and you use that camera for two functions. First is for alignment. You can pull it up on your mobile device and you can see where it's pointed, so you can have it oriented at your target. So you're getting proper readings on your shots. And second, it's going to videotape your swings. So you have something to go back and look at to do some further analysis on what you're doing to deliver the club through the impact zone. On top of that, GolfZone, we're not just in the launch monitor category. We wouldn't be true to brand if we did that. We are a golf simulation company. So that's what we really wanted to lean into with this product was, yeah, take it to the range, use it on the range. That's great. You're going to get all the data you need to have an enhanced range session and deeper analysis into the numbers. But when you take it home, we want you to be able to set it up in an environment like this, whether it be in your garage or your den or an extra room or your basement. And what's the one thing that radar launch monitors can't do is putting. Radar launch monitors are really good at tracking a projectile downrange, but as soon as the golf ball never leaves the ground, you're asking that device to do something it wasn't made to do. And so we created a precision putting mat that pairs with your GolfZon Wave launch monitor. And that putting mat uses 14 infrared sensors running up and down the right and left sides of it. So you're going to get a whole bunch of pictures of the club and the ball at and after the impact zone, which is going to allow you to have the same exact putting experience on this $4,000 unit as you can on our larger Two Vision $75,000 unit. It
That's
is
crazy.
first in, it's the first that I'm aware of in this category to be offering something like that.
You're
And
the
the
only
putting
one.
experience on GolfZone is by far the best. And we wanted to give that to everybody.
Um, I mean, I think this is phenomenal. Like, if this is such next level stuff because no one's doing that. I mean, when I first saw the wave, I was like, oh, it's cool. You can putt, right? That was the first thing. I was like, oh, that's a whole other thing. As what Jimmy and I talked about earlier. Um, but the problem is like I can't putt. I guess you could tweak it. It's clunky, right? I think you can use like the Launch Pro and a couple other ones will let you putt, but it's like super, super clunky.
Mm-hmm.
But with the wave, it's like you can putt, and it's like it it's in a geeky kind of way. It's like holy crap, this is the coolest thing ever because like I'm actually putting, it actually feels like I'm actually playing golf, um, which is just phenomenal. And my experience with the wave is this so far: you get the same graphics, I would say, as you would in the Two Vision. It looks almost the exact same, right? And you're talking
Yeah.
about, and I'm running off of. They always with most simulator companies, they're always like, run off a gaming PC. If you have a simulator room, run off a gaming PC, right? Because you can move full max res and everything like that. Now, I don't have a gaming PC, but I have a really fast like business PC, right? And it
Mm-hmm.
worked fine, no problem, and it looked really good. So
Yeah.
that's the first thing. The putting is next level, like nothing I've ever experienced before. And then what's cool is like you can either use the wave like indoors with the putting, or you can take out to the range with the unit behind you. So like you can kind of see like in this picture here that the unit right behind her is the actual the what do you call it, the launch monitor, I guess, or
Yep.
and so it's a very versatile product that you can actually use it both ways. And like I don't know, I think it's now Jamie and I talked about this before the show. Like what separates the wave from like say its competitors, like the Full Swing, the ST Plus, they're all around the same price point, right? Is the putting for sure. But also I think like this is more if you want a really good simulator, like a really good simulator that has all kinds of cool features, like the wave is like yeah, I can. It's like you flip it, right? It's like some units are like, oh, it's really good at being a training device that we can also run sim functions on it, right?
Yep.
Or this like,
Yep.
and you can correct me if I'm wrong. I feel like it's the wave is flipped. It's like we're a really good simulator that you can also do some like training stuff on. So it's like which bucket do you want to fit? And as a consumer, who are you? Do you want to train a lot or do you want to play a lot? Right. And it's cool because no one's really doing it like that. And also, it's like their stuff looks really good. Like their courses look good. It doesn't look all cheesy, like I don't know. So the wave's awesome. The wave's awesome.
Yeah.
For that
I
price
think you
point, it's a
nailed it.
steal.
I, I think you nailed it, Paul. You can be there is no shortage of options out there who are great training devices that can also be a simulator. But our angle on this was, well, hey, we're GolfZone. We're a really good simulator. So what if we made one of those that could also be a training device? That was the whole angle here. And I think it's really working. I think the product is an absolute home run. But again, we're fighting the battle of, hey, nobody knows we're here. So that's why this product exists. It's $4,000. There's a lot more people that can afford that than 75. So let's get it out there. Let's get the GolfZone brand name
Yeah, the
elevated here.
technology's all there. It's just in a
Yeah.
smaller, compact, like you don't have the moving floor and all the special grass and whatever. But like you don't need all that because if you want the core system, you're getting the little core system for what 20th of the price,
Yeah.
15th of the price. I mean, I haven't taken it. I didn't take it outside. I took it indoors and I used it on a sim and I plugged it on, and I plugged it into like a projector and I was like the exact same experience. Um, and I also so there's two ways you can use it. You can use it through your computer, which is like
Mhm.
the full. If you want the full sim experience, use it through the computer. And
Absolutely.
if you don't want to do that, you can also use it through the app, which is iOS. Is it Android too, or just iOS?
iOS and Android. Yep.
So
Both.
like, and then, but it's different. It's similar but different, right? Like I would say the app between the app and the sim, or the app and the computer.
It is, yeah. So the computer is going to give you the ability to play golf, right? You're going to
Hundreds of
play on.
courses, and they're not shitty courses either. It's not like some course you never heard of. It's like, whoa, crap,
Yeah,
how'd they get
no.
that course? Like,
These are legit golf courses.
yeah, and like
The
legit
app
ones.
the app, Paul, doesn't have courses on it. It's got, I think, one hole that you can
Yeah,
go
it's one hole.
play.
Yeah, it's more for practicing. I feel like the app is.
It is. It's called Wave Skills. That's the app that we have right now, and that is just full on training. So if you've ever seen the back end of a TrackMan device and just all the numbers, that's what
Yeah,
you're going to see. You're going to see the data, and you're going to be able to analyze the data, and it stores the data to your account, so you can go back and compare today's practice session against what you did in January. It doesn't matter. You've got
I
all
think
the
it's
data saved
cool.
there
Yeah,
forever.
I think it's super cool. It's like
But
it's like it's made for when you want to go use it to the range or go practice in your yard or like
yes,
not play golf, but you're actually practicing with data. Not so much, I'm playing golf on a really cool simulator.
doing your wedge gapping, right? You got to have data to do that. So you can do all that stuff with
And you
this
can
device.
and you can also like I know because you have like the three modes, right? Like you can do like putting, you can do like approach, and you can do what's the third one? Like driving or something,
Just
or
driving range.
range.
Yeah,
It's
just your
range,
regular driving
approach,
range.
putting.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like what's cool, you can look like this is the fun part. You can be like, oh, I suck at 90 yards out. Like, what club do I use? Okay, so like you could literally just put the app on iOS, and you can literally practice that shot over and over and over and really gap that shot. I'm like, oh, I hit my sand wedge 95 yards. You have all that data, and you go, okay, now I'm gonna go back 10 more yards further. Do I still hit that? Like, you can literally like drill in your numbers. I don't know. I think it's cool. Like, and
That's
that's
how
just
you
the
get good
app.
right there.
Yeah. And then if you want to putt, like, because that's always the disconnect because you can't putt. So then people are like, well, I'm good at approach and I'm good at the driving range, but I can't putt. And it's like literally you can sit there and putt the same 10-foot putt 100 times on the mat and be like, putt, 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 and be like, why am I breaking right or why am I breaking left or whatever? I don't know. It's
Yeah. And,
ingenious.
and Paul, the tricky thing is retraining the American consumer that putting is an actual thing you can do on a golf simulator. Because they say, no, we don't want to do it because putting sucks, putting sucks, putting sucks. It's not very good. And then they get to the golf course. They've been practicing all winter in the colder weather climates. They've been playing on their golf simulators, but they haven't been putting. So they're hitting the ball great, but they're three putting every hole when they finally get out to the golf course. And they're going, why am I shooting 95? I hit 12 greens in regulation. I shot 91. It's like, yeah, you're not putting. So if,
Or chipping. Or I'm not chipping like,
just,
like small chips, right? And just not like
yeah,
enough. It's like,
get the reps in. Get the reps in, get the numbers, get the practice in. You're hitting the shots, finish the hole. And
yeah.
that's what GolfZone lets you do. Finish the hole, hit that 6-foot putt, make it. Come on, you got to make those. It's a tournament.
That's the thing. It's like if I was your competitors, I'd be scared, honestly, because I'd be like, oh crap. Because I think like people don't know what Golf Zone really is, kind of like we talked about at the beginning of the show, like who they are, the technology, what they are, the whole nine yards. And it's like, you know, I mean, I've had to now I've been able to see now I've been able to play on both of the units, right? Your two flagship units that are here. And it's like, holy crap. Like
Yeah.
no one can touch this. It's like, but just getting that word out. But like, look, this is a huge competitor now that you guys need to check out. Because if you like if you're gonna spend $4,000 on another unit, you want to make damn sure that like you have everything you want, right? Or I don't know. I just think it's pretty cool. Like I don't have to say that. Like, oh yeah, yeah, you have this ability. What's your stick? What's your stick? Like what's your thing? What are you known for? Oh, we can do spin, or we're cheap,
Yeah.
or whatever it might be. And it's like this is a good unit, and you get what you pay for, and you actually get more than that. Honestly, I think you get more than what you pay for with this unit because I mean, and it's like affordable. Here's the other thing too. Like they're like one of the big things when you buy like a simulator app, launch monitor simulator, whatever, is they get you on the like membership, and it's like, oh, it's $1,000 a year if you want all the golf courses, and it's like, well, I just spent like $5,000 on this thing. And it's like this is actually affordable. Like if you want like the whole shebang, right? All the courses and all that stuff. It's like it's not that much money. It's like super affordable. It's almost like you're making them. It's like you're selling a good product, but you're not screwing over the consumer on the tech or the full access. I think a lot of people try to do that. Like, oh, we're gonna be a lower price, but we're gonna get you over here. And it's like you're like, no, we're gonna be a high quality product, and just for a little bit more. If you want the whole thing, it's like a couple $100, not like
Right.
like what they're offering is probably in my mind is worth well over $1,000 if you buy like their full version, and they're not even charging you like half that. That's my opinion. Like I think that's cool. So
Oh, thanks for saying that. I won't tell our CFO that, because it'll be like, raise the price to 1,000.
well, no, I think that's a big selling point, to be quite honest. Like because no one's doing that. It's like
Yeah.
people are getting tired of subscriptions. They don't want to spend the subscription. They spend $5,000 on a unit, and it's like, okay,
It's a bit of a necessary evil,
of course.
to maintain the servers and to keep developing new stuff. I mean, there's ongoing costs associated with that, and having the subscription helps offset some of that. So it is the best way for us to not only go to market with what we believe is the best software, but to keep it as the best software in the category. So having the subscription, it helps.
But the difference between you and some of your competitors is that your subscription is actually affordable. Like it's not like you're gouging the consumer on top of buying a really nice expensive unit, within reason.
Yeah.
That it's like I don't have a problem paying that extra for the full max version of whatever the subscription is. I'm telling you right now that it's probably like a fifth of the price of anybody else, right? So
Yeah.
it's almost like, well, it's a no-brainer. I'm actually going to get the full version because it's not that much money. Like I would never buy the full version of E6. I could never afford it. But I can get the full
That's
version
another
of
thing
GolfZone.
that's another thing I like about the Wave, though, is that if that is what you want to do, and you do want to go get E6, by all means, you can run that
Yeah, you can
through a
plug it in
Wave
if you
device.
want to, or you can use their software. I mean,
Yeah, no
it's
problem.
it's cool. I don't know. I think you guys have a phenomenal product, and I'm not just
Thank
saying
you
that.
very
Like
much. I'm
like
really glad to hear you say that. It's new, we've been talking about it for a couple years now. We've been in development,
yeah,
and
for
we've
like
gone through
years. Like was
changes,
this the
and
first announced in like 2020? That's what somebody said, and I was like, really? I didn't know that. Or 19, or like the
no, it
V1 of
wasn't
it
19.
was it was announced, right? Like, oh, we're coming out with this, but like it wasn't released until like June or something.
When was there not a PGA show? It was
21.
2021, right? So
Yep.
we announced it in 20 then. No,
Well,
sorry,
19, I thought.
22.
Really?
Yeah, we announced it in
Last year?
22, January of 22, and then we released it in June of 23.
Yeah, like a month and a half ago.
Yeah, yeah. And
And
that's
then
just the
that's one thing.
development.
And that's one thing Jimmy and I are talking about too, is like there's not what I like so much about this unit is I got to see both of them, right? So I got to see like their super high end, and I got to see their made for the masses version. And it's like so nice. There's such great
Hmm.
units that like, I think back to like, okay, who the competitors are and like who should really be worried right now. And the only thing that's like it's a matter of time before everybody knows what GolfZone is, right? Like if this was a Garmin product, everybody like, oh, yeah, the new Garmin thing came out, and I love Garmin. Don't get me wrong, and like but like GolfZone, no one knows what GolfZone is, and it's like as soon as people do, it's gonna be like, oh, that's gonna be like it's like the sleeping, what's it called, like the dark horse, right? Like in a racetrack, it's like, oh, that's the one that's you have to
Yeah,
watch out for. Like
the
that's
tortoise and the hare, man.
you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not just saying that. Honest to God, like, I think like when people realize the power of this unit, they're gonna be like, "Holy shit!"
Yeah.
And then especially if you can, I don't know. I think it's cool. And trust me, bro. I've done like every unit. I know every one of your competitors. I know whatever. Like, I've hundreds of YouTube videos on it, and it's like this thing is off the chart. It's cool. It's so
Hmm.
cool.
That's great to hear you say it, man. We're gonna
I'm just
cut
telling
up
you.
this. We're gonna cut this up, and we're gonna use a lot of sound bites here. I can tell you
Good.
that.
Do that. That'd be great. I'd appreciate that. Just kidding. Um, so where can people? It's like, so we had somebody just commented on the live stream. He's in Korea. Okay.
Hey,
And he says, I'm a shareholder of GolfZone in Korea. Where can I buy the GolfZone Wave? The GolfZone Wave can be found on Amazon Japan, but the corresponding product cannot be found on Amazon USA. Now, I know this because the only place you can buy the Wave is on your website, right? In the US,
as of right now,
as
yes,
of right now.
we are soon going to be launching on Amazon. That is a long, arduous process that we're near
Oh,
the
yeah.
finish of.
Big time.
So yeah,
Takes
we will
forever.
be on Amazon soon.
Um, so right now, are you guys only going to be selling on Amazon on your website? Or are you going to go like to third-party retailers as well, like all the big stores?
No, yeah, we'll do third-party retailers as well. It's all early stages. The product's only been out for what, 2 months, month and a half, 2 months. So it takes some time to set that stuff up. We're going through it now. We've got some dealers out there who are having some success with the product, and we'll be going through traditional retail as well.
See, what's so cool about this is like, okay, so like if Golf Zone has these big tournaments already, right, for these big ass pots, I could
Oh
see you
yeah,
guys doing the same thing with the Wave and be like, oh yeah, it's $1 million pot, and it's like anybody who has a Wave can play in it, and people could actually play at their house, and like you could really market the hell out of this thing in that regard, like because no one's doing stuff like that. Like, and you guys are already doing it just on a different level on the bigger systems. I don't know. I think there's just so much you can do with this. It's
no
crazy.
comment. Stay tuned.
So like when I was at Troon, like the guy was explaining to me about the Two Vision is like if you become a member or like you have an account with Golf Zone, like you just have a card and you swipe it in front of the machine, it like knows who you are. And it's like, oh, this is Jimmy McDonald. Here's all of his information. It knows it goes to the cloud. And so if Jimmy goes and plays, you forgot to say this part. I already know this. If we were playing on the Two Vision, like it records every one of your swings too, which is freaking cool. Like we got to mention that. Like it will show you like camera view your whole freaking swing, and it takes that whole thing and it saves it to the cloud. So like you can go to a location in New York, go practice, go play, go home, and you can like literally watch all your shots, see all your data, the whole like the club. It shows like it's so cool, dude. It shows like the club stuff, like it shows you the club face when it hits the ball. Two different camera views on the club. Then it shows like if you're on the range, it shows like you, like your body. I don't know, it's
Yep.
nuts, and
Swing
it's all
replay videos.
stored,
Yeah,
right? It's so cool.
that's
Next level
that was
stuff.
great. You hit it right on the head. And Paul, how much does that service cost you?
0.
$0. And all that data is saved in the cloud forever.
And
All
you
you
can
have to do
save
is
it,
log
and then you
in.
can send it to your instructor, or you can send it to like you can draw on it
Yeah.
yourself. Like even that was the thing we're going to talk about. Even on the Wave, you can draw on the app. So like you can like record yourself you on the Wave, right?
Yeah.
There's a camera behind you, and then you can draw on the camera, and you can draw on the Wave app. Like it's like all these like I feel like Golf Zone has thought of all these things already. Not like, oh, that'd be a cool idea to do one day. It's like, no, dude, they're already doing it. It's
Yeah.
like it's just I don't know. It's very advanced. So
I'm so excited I'm going to Korea in about 2 weeks. I haven't been since before the pandemic, but I'm going back and we're going to spend some time with the development team and see what they've been working on. And I can't tell you how excited I am.
that's gonna be
Just,
cool.
I'm going to walk into this room with all these ideas of what I think, just like you were saying, they've already thought of it, right? And I've got all
Yeah,
these
these are
ideas.
basic. Yeah, like they already know. And it's been tested
It,
too. They've already tested it on the mass, right? In the masses. So it's not like, oh, could we? It's like
oh,
when are we, right?
Paul, they don't
It's
even
cool.
talk about it until it's past quality assurance testing. They don't tell us that they're working on something unless it is vetted and it works and they've tested it ad nauseum and it's approved. And then the information gets released like, hey guys, this is what we're working on. So for me to go to Korea in 2 weeks and see what they've been churning out in that development office for the last couple of years, I wish we were doing this podcast in 3 weeks because there's going to be
Well,
some
we
wild
we have
stuff.
follow up. You can't talk about it though. That's
Yeah.
the thing. You have to like call me on the phone, and be like, bro, blah, 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 and I'm like, what? Well, I don't know. I don't get this. I don't get. I like tech, as my audience kind of knows. Like I feel like that's kind of like what we all love. We all love playing with the tech, right? And I think
Sure.
like the Wave is like honest to God, flying under the radar right now. It's only been out for a month and a half, but I think like within a year or less, like everyone's gonna know what the Wave is. It's gonna. I think it's a phenomenal product. It just is. Like it just is. I don't know. I can't. There's a little bit of a learning curve, but at least here's the only thing I'll just tell you right now, and you probably already
Mhm.
know this. So like the only negative I had to say about the Wave Simulator app is it takes like 3 freaking hours to download. Like that's the
Yeah.
truth. Like it takes three
Big
hours to
program.
download it, and it's a ginormous program. It takes like 80 gig of space in your computer. So like that's a downside, I would say, and that's pretty minor. I mean, it literally takes that long because you have to download like a bazillion, not just their file, but it's like, oh, the new framework from Microsoft and all this other crap. It's on.
Yep.
And then finally it works. And you're like, okay, cool. So I guess I got 2 things I'm gonna tell your development team. That file needs to be in one zip file because 3 hours is way too freaking long. And you confuse a lot of
Yeah.
old people. And the other thing, like my dad. And the other thing is what was the other thing? Oh, it'd be cool. I'm just letting you know. It'd be cool if you could like minimize, like, what? I don't know. Like if you run the Wave app on your computer or whatever, like it takes over the whole computer. So you can't like screen record it, or I couldn't screen record it because it's like it locks down your
Oh,
computer. So like, it's something you can like you can like put it in a window pretty much. Like, I don't know, like anything else. It won't let you do that. It like locks it down. So you can't do that. So like that's a downside for somebody like me who's trying to create content with it.
yeah.
Because I can't do a screen record. So what I've been having to do is like
Yeah.
record my laptop screen, which is not as nice. But I think that if they can figure out a way, just making it like a box, and you could like
Yeah.
size it to your monitor or whatever. That would be the only thing that
That's
I saw.
interesting.
You know what I mean?
Well,
Just for like if someone can
uh,
record it.
Paul, on your first note, yeah, it's a huge freaking file. It takes up a lot of space. Um, it's a big program, right? So
Yeah,
coming soon is Vision Wave Mobile, where we're going to launch that software and a lighter version of it. There won't be hundreds of courses, but there might be dozens. And we're going to launch that on iOS and Android devices. So that'll be a mobile app that you can download from the App Store, and have the same quality of golf course, just not the same quantity of golf
that's the
course.
thing. I know like that's the thing I think is that like you're giving like 180 golf courses, and like think about 100 or however many courses, there's a ton of them, and you have to
Yep.
like show like all that information for each course, right? Could you imagine that times 18 the whole times however many? um and then the Wave app is easy. I mean, that's no big deal. The Wave
Yeah.
whatever
That's
skills,
that's a
like
breeze.
that's no
There's
big
nothing
deal.
to it. Yeah.
But I mean, I think it's phenomenal. Honestly, guys, like I don't say that often. Like this is a phenomenal unit. Like if this is like put this in your like this is in your budget, like I would highly recommend it because I think like if you're trying to make a sick ass like simulator room and you want a system that'll just run and it'll look really good, and then you can practice if you want, or you can take it to the range. Like this is a really good unit to get because like I said, it's $4,000, which is a lot of money. Don't get me wrong, but like you definitely get what you pay for, and this could last you like 10 years. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and of all the developments with what you guys are doing, I don't know. I think it's a great unit. I mean, on both of them. So
Great, man.
2 thumbs
Thank you for
up.
saying so. I appreciate that very much. And I can't
There's
wait
not a lot of
for the
information
rest of the
out there.
team to
That's the
see this.
problem. Like, there's like one YouTube video. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
there'll be two because mine's coming out really soon. But still,
There we
like,
go.
it's awesome. On those. Well, thanks for being on the show. I had fun with you.
Same here.
My
Thank you.
new Irish friend. Um, but
You can never
so
have enough of those, man.
I think everyone's Irish though. My wife's half Irish. Um, where's can people find the Golf Zone? Like, what's the website?
Yeah, golfzonegolf.com. If you go to that website, you can find all of our product mix, including the Wave. We can buy the Wave right from our website, or you can research our other products and reach out to a sales representative for more info. So golfzonegolf.com.
Well, cool. Thanks for being on the show. I really appreciate it. It was nice finally meeting you in person, and you guys can check out the Golf Zone Wave. It's legit. I mean, it just is. If you have a chance, check out the two Vision. It's gonna blow your mind. I'll just tell you that for
Yeah.
sure. It did mine. I mean, it was the most coolest simulator I've ever seen in my entire life by far. So I really
Thank
appreciate
you,
it,
Paul.
and